Okay, I hear you. You want more information about how to use KizPhonics and FredisaLearns. That's what we're going to talk about today. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, I'm Angie from TeachESLAnywhere.com. I'm a traveling teacher, I'm a minimalist teacher, and hey y'all, I'm back. It took me a long time to edit this video, much longer than it should have, but it was in perfect timing for me to give you some good news. Because I am suggesting that you use both FredisaLearns and KizPhonics together as I do, the company is giving me the opportunity to share with you a discount of 10% off of your second purchase. So if you purchase KizPhonics first, you'll get 10% off of FredisaLearns when you use the code Angie10 on your purchase. Okay, anyway, let's talk about how to use KizPhonics and FredisaLearns. A little bit later in the video, I'm going to take you into Classin where I teach, and I'm going to show you how to use, I use them both together. I use KizPhonics and I use FredisaLearns together in the same class. Yes, if your student is still learning the English alphabet, or if they're learning the sounds of the alphabet and they're bare bones beginners, yes, you would just want to use KizPhonics on their own. But Jen, by the way, hi Jen, thanks so much for the shout out to my channel. You rock, my friend. But anyway, like Jen mentioned, it's not a PowerPoint of 25, 30 slides that you're given at VIPKid or Wales, I assume GoGo Kid, Magic Ears. It's not that inflexible, rigid PowerPoint that you have to bang out in 25 minutes no matter what. That's not what this is. What I said in my first video is that it's very comprehensive. I still see it that way, but a couple of things come into play. First of all, my experience at Wales English. At Wales, there was a screen share feature, and we were encouraged to use that to bring supplemental materials into the class. So I got very used to, very comfortable with going out and very quickly, most of the time, honestly, finding my own supplemental videos or images on the web, all kinds of things. I used it in all kinds of ways. And the teachers in the Wales community would share these ideas for supplemental material in our Facebook page. So, ta-da! This is why I've created the teacher resources group for FredisaLearns and KizPhonics on Facebook, because I see that that's going to be a place where we can share supplemental information. So I'll explain how I use that when we go into Classin, because I have a couple of examples for the unit that I'm going to share with you as an example. So this idea of bringing supplemental content to the lesson, which makes it more fun for everyone, honestly. This became a routine for me, so when I looked at these two pieces of curriculum, I automatically saw myself doing that in a way to supplement the units. Let's talk about the units in FredisaLearns. You're not gonna see a unit that has 10 PowerPoints. You're gonna see a unit that has a collection of different activities that are all based around the unit theme. I suppose if you only went through quickly with no extension and just quickly went through the activities, I think maybe you could do all of the activities except for the final test in a unit on FredisaLearns in one class, probably. You would be speeding through it, in my opinion. You would not have any valuable extension, and it would feel rushed like your classes at VIPKid and other schools do. That was one of my least favorite parts about working for those companies, was the inflexibility to really customize my lesson for the students' needs. I was frequently disheartened when a student that was not on level, or they really just struggled with one skill in a lesson, but I didn't have any more time, so I couldn't focus anymore on that. So they just didn't get, in my opinion, everything they needed to know about that. I wasn't able to fully teach them, is my point. That is one of the things that I love about teaching independently, is the flexibility. And that's what I like about these two pieces of curriculum as well. I like the flexibility. I like the openness. I can see how someone might call it piecemeal, but I really see it as, I would call it flexible. So while I'm on this tangent of what I love about teaching independently, I love it. I just want to tell you, when I'm being paid a rate for a lesson that feels like it's in alignment with my value as a teacher, I feel great about sharing messages with my student on WeChat during the week to answer questions about homework or talk about our pets and share pictures. I feel excellent talking to a parent after class for a few minutes. I feel fantastic about going over to teach, to make sure that I get the lesson fully taught. I'm not talking about crossing boundaries in a way that compromises me, because I do know how to set boundaries. But the feeling tone when I'm doing the activities that I mentioned is entirely different when I'm being paid a rate that feels good to me. So I strongly encourage you to consider your rates. And you can always increase your rates as you go. So if you want to know more of my thoughts about how we should price our lessons, how I think we should price our lessons, you can get that in this video right here. But that is one of my favorite things about teaching independently. Okay, so now I'm going to take you into my class and classroom, and I'll show you how I use these. The first thing I want to highlight for you is a unit outline. This is going to be available for every unit in FredisaLearns. It's also available for KizPhonics. It looks a little bit different. They are excellent guides. They will highlight all of the materials in one place, as well as the objectives. Again, it's showing you the main lesson materials. Then it will also show you the printable worksheets for this unit. Below that, you'll see information about the lesson story, the new vocabulary, as well as the key sentence frames and the grammar points that the student will be learning for this unit. If you scroll down below all of that, you see this download course material link. This is an excellent tool to give to parents. It will demonstrate that you have a plan for the student and make you look really professional when you're courting a potential new student. Again, this is available also for KizPhonics. Okay, so the first piece of material that you're going to see is a PowerPoint. It is going to help you introduce the new vocabulary and the question and answer sentence frames for this unit. As you can see, it's not just a static PowerPoint. There are actually animations. It goes into some dialogue, practicing those question and answer frames, and highlights grammar as well. Now, I think this PowerPoint could definitely use some supplemental content. I would pause at different points throughout this PowerPoint, and I would interject some supplemental content like this. It's a GIF of a duck walking. So you can imagine as a teacher how I would use this supplemental information to further the student's learning of the lesson content. So I would have the student answer my questions, but I might also ask a student, can you think of a question to ask about this duck or these ducks? The reason why I chose images with more than one duck is because one of the unit objectives is to practice the pronoun they. I also want them to practice the negative. So, can this dog fly? No, it can't. Can this dog swim? Yes, it can. Then we move on to a ridiculous image like this. And I love to pull content from the web that will make my students smile and laugh and have a bit of a brain break. When the student sees this picture, they're either gonna say yes or they're gonna say no. It can or it cannot fly. Depends on what they think. And that's cool with me. But it's almost guaranteed you're gonna at least get a smile and probably some giggles. This is a small selection of images. I would definitely pull more images to complete the lesson. With the previous PowerPoint that I showed, these images interjected, as well as at least one phonics activity. And I'll get to those in just a bit. Moving on, this next piece of the curriculum that you're gonna see is the dialogue video, and it's sped up pretty fast right now, and you do not hear the audio. But this is how I use it at least once. I will also sometimes play it with the audio, whether it be in the same lesson or often it's in another lesson. But I definitely give them the opportunity to read it without the sound first. And this is what I really love about this curriculum. They're really cute, very child-friendly, fun, animated videos, which I, again, use just like PowerPoints. All right, so this is the first of a series of KizPhonics activities I'm gonna share with you. The first thing you're seeing are the phonics readers. They look like books, but when you click, they're gonna take you to videos. Again, I am choosing all of these materials, whether it be supplemental or the supplemental KizPhonics activities, based on the unit objectives. And the long I sound is an objective for this unit. That's why I've chosen Mike rides a bike. You will not hear the sound again, but this video does have sound, and I let the student read it before they ever hear the sound, if I ever play the audio for them at all. Like I said, I'm gonna show you a series of different phonics activities. I would definitely not use all of these in one lesson. I would drip them throughout the unit lessons. And if you do not feel that your student needs the support of a phonics activity each lesson, then you get to make that decision. Because again, this is not the rigid PowerPoint where you have to do everything that's in the lesson. You get to actually customize this to your individual student's needs. So this next activity is a phonics song. So again, this one mimics Mike Rides the Bike, the reader, but it's a song. Mike rides a bike, which you can't hear here because I'm talking. But they all have cute little songs to reinforce whatever phonics skill that you're teaching. And now, we have the KizPhonics vowel games. As you see, when I scroll down, there are two that focus on the long I, but one of them is more appropriate for the content in this lesson. So you'll see a star by that one. And we have even more games. So again, this all just really serves to make this a fun way for young learners to learn English. There are so many different activities that you can use. I would not use all of these necessarily unless my student really needed support with this. They are just many options that you can choose to fill out the unit if that's what your student requires. If they don't need this support, then you don't have to add this in. And again, there are two options for these games that focus on the long I, and they are both actually really good and appropriate for this unit. So I give them both a star. This is the vocabulary and sentences video. Yes, it mimics the PowerPoint that we saw previously, and I've used it for a review with the sound as well as without the sound. Just like the other videos, I use it like a PowerPoint. You're gonna see the same grammar points, the same sentences, and the same vocabulary here. And here is another example of supplemental content. I try to choose a video that's gonna help reinforce the sentence frames that we've learned, the vocabulary that they know now, as well as teach them new vocabulary about, for instance, in this example, dolphins. So this is top facts about dolphins. Now, I just want to mention again the Facebook group for teacher resources. I see this as a place where all of the teachers using this material can come together and share supplemental content and other ideas about how we use FredisaLearns and KizPhonics. Each unit also has a test. I like to use this test in a couple of different ways. Jen also mentioned this in her video. Use this as a mid-unit assessment just to see where the student is. If you notice where I've circled, there are, it looks like 21 slides in this one, 21 questions. So if you're teaching 25-minute classes, you could definitely use this as an entire lesson. And the last thing I'm showing you here is that FredisaLearns also has their own printable worksheets. I will use these, whether it be KizPhonics worksheets or FredisaLearns worksheets. Sometimes I will use a worksheet in class. And other times I assign them as homework. If you're seeing this for the first time, you may not know, but all of the worksheets as well as the flashcards, they're all printable. And your students will have their own login so that they can go into the website, print all of these things there, as well as take the unit test and play the games. And I assign some of the other activities like the games as well to the student as homework. In FredisaLearns, there is a platform-wide competitive element so that your students can go and see where they are on the leaderboard compared to where all of the other students are that are studying the same level. So some of our students are really competitive and will really enjoy that. I really hope all of this information helps you make a better decision about how you can use FredisaLearns and KizPhonics in your classroom. And I really look forward to getting to know some of you. I'll put a link below for the Facebook group, but if you want to search it, it's ESL Young Learners Curriculum, FredisaLearns and KizPhonics, something really, really long like that. So if you start to search for ESL Young Learner Curriculum, I think you'll find it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. I am really loving reading your comments, and I just appreciate you so much. I will see you here soon. Take care.